Mechanical engineering. You could call it the basis, the foundation of national development. Take Moscow, for instance. Transportation, construction, high-tech factories. It is all mechanical engineering. Last year, despite the challenging economic conditions and high interest rates, the sector expanded. Electronics, railcar manufacturing. But what about the mineral extraction sector, for example? That is what we will discuss today. Up next, our first story. Conquerors of the peaks. This expression applies perhaps not only to mountaineers, but also to those who extract minerals, for instance. After all, they also tame the rock. They are aided by mining equipment like this, and not just this type. We will now show you how it is manufactured in Yekaterinburg. Initially, back in 1958, the plant only designed the equipment. Now, it manufactures it itself, and not just the hardware. The automated control system on this rig was also developed by our specialists, as was the software. I'll pause here for a moment, because this is a truly unique point. These systems have no foreign equivalents. So it's not just import substitution. You've actually surpassed them. Yes, there is even an interesting fact. This rig can be controlled via a smartphone. And the operator incentive system automatically increases wages for exceeding the plan. So what kind of equipment do they produce? There are stationary plants that brew the explosive agents, which are sequentially loaded into the borehole, and then the blast is detonated. In order to fracture the rock basin, they build drilling rigs for this purpose. Notably, the first prototype appeared at the end of 2022, and now they are ready to turn out 80 units. They make special vehicles that operate both on the surface and underground. This vehicle loads explosives into the rock, and it is Russian-made. It turns out our manufacturer, in cooperation with the company, is gaining invaluable experience. Is it correct to call this vehicle, well, a mini plant? Yes, it is a mini plant for the production of explosives. The vehicle transports the components for the explosive agent in tanks, and the direct mixing takes place only during the charging of the well. Just 4 years ago, demand for such Russian products was near zero. Now, the forecast projects annual growth of up to 100 units. An agreement has been signed with the Ministry of Industry and Trade to implement a project specifically related to underground machinery. And accordingly, funds are being allocated, more than 170 million, as I recall. There are exports too: Africa, the Middle East. Beyond that, of course, we've already mentioned exports. Undoubtedly, our consumers include mining companies in Kazakhstan, in Uzbekistan, and in Armenia as well. That is, the CIS countries, and I would add Mongolia. New workshops are being built to increase production. Modernization is underway, with about 1 billion rubles invested. They have replaced 80% of the machine tools. We also participate in programs implemented jointly with the Ministry of Industry and Trade, also with the Ministry of Economy. Accordingly, we interact with them specifically regarding exports. And the Russian Export Center helps us too, of course. We see the task of the state in general, and the ministry in particular, as ensuring our products enter markets where we have not been represented at all, or markets that are difficult to access logistically. We have always successfully provided logistics subsidies to our exporters. You know, it is the most popular, high-demand measure among our enterprises, but the time has come to target it. We have now identified the industries that need funds the most, since demand for this support measure currently exponentially exceeds our capacity to provide this support. Of course, it is hard to make plans, including export plans, without sating the hunger for personnel. Most enterprises face this. For example, this plant, besides training, is ready to help with housing. For the time it takes to resolve personal issues, let's say related specifically to the acquisition or purchase of housing, we also have a separate apartment program. This apartment is provided to an employee, though not just anyone, but one who meets certain criteria, requirements, and so on. Someone who is weighty, substantial, and important to the company. Accordingly, this apartment is transferred to the person, and they receive it for free after a certain period of time.
И далее он ее получает бесплатно через определенный промежуток времени.
We see an influx of migration, meaning from other regions of our country. Today, the city of Yekaterinburg is constantly receiving our Russian citizens from other regions. And undoubtedly, the current level of wages gives us the opportunity to attract people here. But the most important thing is to keep them here, to make it comfortable to live, raise children, get an education, and enjoy cultural benefits. In essence, working on staffing is comprehensive work that touches upon all industries, all spheres of life, and all areas managed by the government of the Sverdlovsk region. Next, we head to the Kaliningrad region, which is also ready to attract qualified personnel to develop manufacturing, including in the mineral extraction sector. This plant in the Kaliningrad region, which never stops working regardless of the weather, entered the Russian Book of Records for the heaviest structure shipped from a wharf, 14,000 tons. This is Verande, an ice-resistant terminal that loads oil onto tankers in the Arctic. They also make LNG plant modules here. The list is actually very long. We will now tell you about it all in more detail. Over 30 years of operation, the plant has built a serious track record. Besides the Verande terminal for shipping oil in the harsh Arctic, for example, they built the ice-resistant platform D6, which extracts black gold on the Baltic shelf. The plant also participated in Caspian projects. And here is something fresh. A Lukoil project, construction of platforms for the D-33 field. They have already built the support block, the jacket, and sent it to sea. This is the largest jacket ever built in Russia, and in general. It is 80 meters tall, 56 by 56 meters. That is, it is bigger than our largest workshop. It was loaded out to sea via hydraulic trolleys and is now installed offshore. Behind us, we see the topside structure. This year, the platform's topside must be handed over to the client. The second project is the development of the Kameno-Miskoye sea field. We are participating in this project with Gazprom. Gazprom is the customer. We are making a turnkey living quarters module, a helipad, a shelter for rescue equipment, and 1/3 of the support base. The support base itself is huge, more than 22,000 tons. By the way, they have experience building more than just extraction structures. A shipping terminal for chemical fertilizers in Ust-Luga is also our work. Well, there is a lot. Large diameter shells here for our regasification terminal in Kaliningrad. Counting on one's fingers isn't enough, really. The portfolio includes a bridge and yacht hulls. We are currently negotiating regarding small fishing trawlers too, to manufacture them, to return to that, so to speak, because it is a very interesting developing sphere in Russia. And it seems there is a shortage of vessels, and it seems there is a shortage of shipyards that can build them. We are confident that this is also one of our avenues of activity here. Overall, the plant is tailored for unique projects, structures and modules weighing up to 12,000 tons. There is certainly nothing else like it on the Baltic. So you have orders for years ahead? We currently have an order book through 2026. In short, work goes on in any weather. Rain or snow, it does not stop, day or night. Day and night, 7 days a week, no days off. There is work, everyone is happy. But again, people are needed. Automation solves the staffing issue partially, only partially. We are now working closely with colleges that train for trade specialties. We eagerly await them and invite them for internships. We pay them like normal employees. Undoubtedly, state support plays a huge role here. In the Kaliningrad region, for example, there is compensation for part of a specialist's relocation expenses. By 2028, our requirement will be 25,000 people. Why is it forming this way? Because the Kaliningrad region is one of the most investment-attractive regions today, and we have formed a rather large portfolio, several hundred investment projects. So we sit at the same table with investors and discuss what programs are needed, what support for families is needed, because it is clear we cannot fully meet this need with our own resources. Therefore, we're also attracting personnel from other regions of Russia. The task is ambitious, but together with investors, we will manage it. From the west of Russia to the east, Khabarovsk Krai is also actively developing investment projects, including those related to the extraction and transport of minerals. This is what a compressor looks like, or rather, a part of one. The brainchild of this Khabarovsk plant labors at dozens of enterprises, not only in Russia, but also abroad. What exactly does such complex equipment do, and how is it manufactured? We will show you now. The enterprise has existed for a long time. It was an auto repair plant back in the 30s. But then, times changed. You probably remember the Urengoy-Pomory-Uzhhorod program, the construction of gas pipelines. And our task was, that is, these new workshops that were built for that project. We made gas turbine drives and gas pumping equipment. Recently, we mastered new products, compressor equipment. This machine is not that color by accident because it pumps coke oven gas. It is toxic, explosive, and flammable. And these are not copies of foreign machines. Our own design bureau designs equipment that was not produced in Russia before, ready to toil in unbearable conditions. There are, for example, air blowers that work in aluminum production. There are those. Unfortunately, the gas there is also very bad. The machine runs for 60 to 90 hours. After that, it goes into repair. We supply them with spare parts. According to plant management, foreign competitors even attempt to copy some of the equipment. There are import models, but our efficiency is even higher due to that very axiradial impeller, which we manufacture on 5-axis equipment. As for equipment, preference is given to Russian machine tools where possible. There is a machine standing there. Two stand side by side. One is our old one, and the other we bought from a Russian company that engages in modernizing our old Russian hardware. It is super modern with CNC. It is easier to find workers for it. You understand, it is hard now to find a person who would stand at a machine, turning handles, and that's it. But for CNC machines, guys come to us from institutes and colleges. They come, and even during their production internships, for example, they come with pleasure and work for us. And to aid modernization, there is support from the state. The Industrial Development Fund helps us constantly. I have signed contracts with them several times already. It is very convenient. They provide money immediately at a low interest rate. Also providing support is the Industrial Re-Equipment Charter of Khabarovsk Krai. It is precisely about close cooperation between enterprises, which regional authorities help establish. That is, it implies replacing equipment and shifting procurement activity, including that of private enterprises, from import products to our domestic ones. For example, within our country, this includes Nornickel and a large number of pharmaceutical enterprises. And all of this is ordered here and produced on these high-precision machines. The enterprise participates in the federal target program to replace machine tool imports with domestic products, and accordingly, even approaching this table today, we can see a large number of import substituting parts that each industrialist manufactures for their own production. Overall, Khabarovsk compressors work at many production facilities across our vast country. There are orders for next year, and the plant plans to expand production. They are renovating workshops, buying equipment, and hiring people. To train personnel, they cooperate with the institute and colleges. Do you have exports? We have exports. Our favorite traditional export is to India. We have contracts with Iran, we have contracts to Georgia, we have contracts with all our Central Asian countries and republics. There are contracts with Belarus. We work quite closely with them. We are absolutely sure that we will have a record again by year's end. And all this is happening against the backdrop of sanctions, against the backdrop of statements about restricting Russian exports. But the number of companies, the number of exporters is growing steadily. The number of exporters we provide support to is growing. The volumes of exports we support grow from year to year. Therefore, rumors of the death of Russian exports proved greatly exaggerated. Support and enterprise cooperation for the common cause of producing things the country needs will be discussed further. We head to the Volgograd region. The world's first 5D printers were reproduced in the Volgograd region, on the territory of the hero city of Volgograd. We have now launched serial production of 5D printers, as we call them. These are 5-axis 3D printers that allow printing parts 4 times stronger than classic 3D printers. In a standard 3D printer that prints in layers, supports are needed because the part does not hang in the air, and so it requires serious post-processing later. Here, the product can be rotated during printing. 5 coordinates, 5 directions at the moment of printing. That is, the part grows from the center rather than layer by layer as on a standard 3D printer. Volumetric printing has several advantages. Post-processing is minimal. 60% less raw material is used, plus the part turns out much stronger. Take even this simple membrane. It is printed with an old insert, meaning it generally doesn't wear out. We removed it from the metal, tore it off, installed it in the printer, and the printer restores a working membrane. Then we put it in the pump, and it works. That is, in conditions where the unfriendly West attempts to restrict the supply and service of its equipment, the Volgograd printer prints the necessary spare parts for it. One company, I won't name it, approached us to print two elementary but fairly complex parts. I mean plastic, but of a sufficiently complex shape. Due to the lack of these two parts, the production line halted, stopped completely. 150 million in potential losses. We ensured the production restart. Furthermore, the parts turn out cheaper than the originals. The plastic is Russian, so the demand is serious, from energy and medicine to the mineral extraction sector and aviation. If we talk about other directions, including unmanned systems, a huge number of universities are working in this direction now. And so they use this equipment as a new technological opportunity to use lightweight parts reinforced with continuous carbon fiber. Now the task is to replace the remaining import parts in the printer with our own. The printer prints itself partly. That is, probably about 15–20% of the parts of the entire casing it printed for itself independently. We need to teach youth to work on such equipment and, of course, scale the production and use of the technology so that parts could be reproduced at a single moment in time anywhere on the planet on our equipment. This is very significant growth. Actually, global practice has not seen such growth in the last 2 years. This suggests we are producing more and more new products. Production intensity is rising, production efficiency is rising. This is indirectly confirmed by the fact that the main part of the able-bodied population is employed in industrial enterprises, trade enterprises, the agricultural sector, and other economic branches. So our companies have something to offer both their own and foreign consumers who are interested in developing friendly cooperation.